the grammatical mistake in the statement itself called syntax error. Now, if I consider parallelogram, so this is for input or output or data or information. Suppose if I want to multiply two numbers, then I'm going to use product. So, syntax product specify two numbers or n numbers. Hello to all, heartily welcome to my new session on model question paper discussion. I am Revati, faculty from the Department of Computer Science, Vidhyaashram Pre-University College, Temple of Excellence, Mysuru. Dear student, in my today's session, I am going to deal with how to attend Part D questions. Before that, let me to recall the things what I have discussed in my previous session. In my previous session, I discussed how to attend, how to write Part C question and what is the weightage of each question. But in my today's session, I'm going to deal with Part D question. Dear student, please make a note here. Under Part D, I'm going to get 14 question. Please make a note here. It is 14 question. Out of 14 question, I'm going to write the answer for only 7 question. And each question carries 5 marks. So, total it is 35. See, total I'm having 14 questions. Out of 14, I'm going to attend only 7. And each question carries 5 marks and it is 35. Now, let me to discuss each and every question in detail one by one. So, at the beginning, I'm going to have explain functional units of a computer with neat block diagram. So directly they specified explain functional units of a computer with neat diagram. So I want to explain all the functional units along with neat diagram. Now, if I consider computer system, what are the functional units I'm having? That is input unit, CPU and output unit, and I'm going to have memory. Now, how to answer for this question? First, I want to list the functional units. Before that, write the diagram. And this diagram carries 2 marks. Write the diagram properly and write the arrow or connectivity properly. Now, I want to send the data from input device to CPU. Now, see the arrow. If I consider CPU, the data are flows in circular manner. That means in one side, all the data are flow in one direction, that is towards down. In another side, another direction, that is towards up. And from CPU to output device, see the direction once again. And if you write this diagram properly, then you can able to get 2 marks and write 2 or 3 lines about input device and write something about CPU, write the division, that is the CPU is divided into 2 category, that is control unit and arithmetic unit. Write at least 2 lines about control unit as well as arithmetic unit. Then write some information about memory unit and write memory units are further classified into 2 types, primary memory and secondary memory. Then write at least 2 or 3 lines about output device. And if you write all the things properly, then you can able to score 5 marks directly. And it is very easy to get 5 marks. Now, let me to consider another question here, that is difference between impact printer and non-impact printer. See the difference here, it is for 5 marks and at least write 5 difference so that each difference carries 1 marks. Now, based on the parameter, first I'm going to write the definition. So, first parameter is definition. So, here it is my impact printer and this is my non-impact printer. And if I consider impact printer prints figures, pictures by hitting a device. In impact printer, the name itself suggests that there is a hitting device such as wheel or print hammer or print head. Again, an inked ribbon. So, it is a impact printer. There is a impact between paper as well as ribbon. Now, it includes hammer or header and it's going to hit the paper. Now, non-impact printer, there is no connection between printing device and paper. In non-impact printer, there is no impact between paper as well as printing device. Now, the second difference here, printing execution or mechanism. So, what's the parameter I'm going to consider here? What is the mechanism of printer? That is, in impact printers, printing is executed by hammering a character or metal pin. So, how the characters are printed? By hitting. But if I consider non-impact, printing is executed by dropping ink on paper. So, here dropping ink on paper, but here hitting the character. See the difference here. Now, let me to consider speed of printer. If I consider impact printer, the speed of the printer is low because each time the header is going to hit the ribbon. Now, if I consider non-impact printer, the speed of the printing is high. Now, noise. If I consider impact printer, it's going to produce us noise because many moving parts. But if I consider non-impact, they have low level of noise. So, it's going to produce very little noise. Now, printing process. So, impact printers generally utilizes hammers as well as printers or wheels. But in non-impact printer, they uses spray of ink or laser or heat. Now, let me to consider the printing quality. The print quality of impact printer is very low. But what about non-impact printer? The printing quality is very high. Now, let me to consider another difference here, that is printing ink. So, when print head strikes, then they prefer special inked ribbon. So, here we are going to use special inked ribbon. But here we are going to use toner or cartridge. So, dear student, please make a note here. In my impact printer, I'm going to use inked ribbon. But what about non-impact printer? I'm going to use cartridge or toner. Now, technology. So, this is the traditional printing technology. So, here impact printers are example for traditional printing technology. But what about non-impact printer, that is contemporary printing technology. Now, let me to consider value. So, what is the parameter? That is value. Now, impact printers are pretty affordable. But what about non-impact printer? That is quite expensive. Now, the type of paper used here under impact continuous paper sheet. So we are going to use continuous paper sheet, but in non-impact individual paper sheet. So we are going to use individual paper sheet. And if I consider graphic image parameter, except dot matrix printers, no other impact printers can print graphic image. So only dot matrix printer can able to print graphics. But if I consider non-impact, printing graphical illustrations are possible in non-impact printer. That means any kind of printing can be done by using non-impact printer. And character style. So what's the next parameter? That is character style. Except for the dot matrix, the characters or figure style cannot be changed. That means in dot matrix, we can able to change the style of the character. But if I consider non-impact, they can print various type of figures as well as characters. So dear student, please note down here, I have discussed many difference. But according to the question as well as marks, you need to write the answer. So it carries only 5 marks. For that reason, write any 5 difference and it is left to you. You can write any 5 difference. Now, let me to consider another question here, that is subtract 83. So this is my decimal number. Now I want to subtract 83 from 36 using 2's complement method. So here this 83 is nothing but my minute. And what about 36? That is nothing but subtrahend. Now I want to subtract 36 from 83. Now see, at the beginning what I want to do, I want to convert this decimal number to binary. Now I'm going to use simple method, that is I'll write 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32 and 64. So what is this? 86. Now I will add 64 plus 16, it is 80. Along with that, I'm going to add 2 and 1. Now what is the value? It is 83. So what I'm going to do? I'm going to write the 1 here and below 32 0. I'll write 1. Now below 8 I'll write 0. I'll write 0. Below 2 I'll write 1. Below 1 I'll write 1. So this is the binary conversion of 83. Now for same thing I'm going to apply for 36. So I'm going to get 1 0 0 1 0 0 and it is binary. 2 is nothing but base 2, that is nothing but binary representation. Now what I want to do, I want to take the ones complement of negative number, because in computer system we cannot able to represent negative numbers. For that we are having ones complement as well as two's complement. So according to the question, I want to subtract the given number using 2's complement method. So I cannot take 2's complement directly. Before that, I want to take the 1's complement. So here, see, this is the number. So here I'm having 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0 and 0. So this is the actual negative number, that is minus 36. Now this is the actual 36 number. That means the 36 is represented in the form of 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0. Now what I want to do, I want to take the ones complement. Ones complement is what? I'm going to write the inverse. That is, if I'm having 0, I'll make it 1. If I'm having 1, I'll make it 0. So here I'm having 0, I'll make it 1. Here I'm having 0, so I'll make it 1. Here I'm having 1, so I'll make it 0. Here I'm having 0, I'll make it 1. So 0, 1, 1, 0 and 0, 1. Now to convert this to 2's complement, what I want to do, I want to add 1 to LSB. That is nothing but the least significant bit. So here 1 plus 1. So 0 is my sum and 1 is carry. Now 1 plus 1, 0 is my sum and 1 is carry. So 1 plus 0, it is 1. So I'll write 1 as it is, I'll write 1 as it is, I'll write 0 as it is, and I'll write 1 as it is. Now what I want to do, I want to add this 2's complement with the 83. That is binary representation of 83. Now see here, I'm going to have the binary representation of 83 as well as minus 36. So dear student, let me to write the number as it is. I'll write 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1. Now let me to write another number 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, and I want to perform addition. Now 1 plus 0, it is 1, 1 plus 0, it is 1, 0 plus 1, it is 1, 0 plus 1, it is 1, 1 plus 1, 0 is sum, 1 is carry. Now 0 plus 0, it is 0, 0 plus 1, it is 1, now 1 plus 1, it is sum is 0, 1 is carry. Now this 1, if I consider bit, see I'm having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now if I consider this one, here I'm having only 7 bit, but here I'm having carry. So this carry is nothing but the bit representation, and if I subtract this one, I'm going to get positive 47. That is 83 minus 36. What is the answer I'm going to have? It is 47. But what is that? It is positive 47. But if I consider this one, that is carry bit 1, this indicates that it is my negative number. For that reason, I'm going to discard this carry. So what I want to do? I want to discard this carry. Now, consider remaining bit here. I'll write 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64. If I add 32 plus 8, it is 40. 40 plus 4, 44. 44 plus 2, it is 46. 46 plus 1, it is 47. So it is 47. Like this is the way you can able to cross verify. That means whatever the value you're going to get, it is correct or not, you can cross verify. And this question carries 5 marks. Now see here how the marks are divided. So this includes 2 mark. Now this conversion includes 1 mark, and this one's complement carries 2 marks. I repeat once again. So the conversion carries 1 mark. Now this 2's complement carries 2 marks and this addition carries 2 marks. So it is total 5 marks. Now let me to consider my next question, that is define syntax error, semantic error, logical error, runtime error and testing. So here I am having 5 sub question and each sub question carries 1 marks. So what is syntax error? Syntax error is the set of rules which should be followed while creating the statement. So, what is syntax? That is nothing but the rule. I want to follow same rule while writing my program. The grammatical mistake in the statement of the programs are called syntax error. The grammatical mistake in the statement itself called syntax error. For example, if I write A equal to A plus B and if I forget to write the semicolon, this leads syntax error. And if I write ABC and forget to close double quote, once again this leads to syntax error. Now, what is semantic error? An error which occurs due to improper use of statement. Listen here, error that's going to occur improper use of statement in the programming language. Usually, I'm going to write C equal to A plus B. This is the valid statement. If I write A plus B equal to C, then this leads to semantic error. Then what is logical error? The errors in the logic. For example, logical errors occurs when there is a mistake in the logic that leads logical error. For example, to find the area of a circle, I'm going to have pi, that is pi r square. Now, instead of writing pi r square, if I write 2 into 3.142 into r, then this leads logical error. For example, I can consider another one. Think that I want to perform addition. Okay, instead of writing A plus B, if I make A minus B, this also leads to logical error. Now, let me to consider another error, that is runtime error. During execution of the program, some errors may occur. So, while executing my program, if I get any error, then it leads to runtime error. The example, divide by 0. If I try to divide any number by 0, then I'm going to get divide by 0, and this kind of errors are example for runtime error. Then what about testing here? Testing is the process of checking whether the program works according to the requirement or not. Now, testing is the process of checking the program. It works according to the user needs or not. So, by giving input, we are going to cross verify or we are going to check whether the program works according to the requirement of the user. And each sub question carries 1 marks. So, it is total 5. And it is very easy to score 5. Now, let me to consider that is another question. What is a flow chart? Explain any 4 symbols. First, I want to define what is flowchart. So, what is flowchart here? That is the pictorial representation or graphical representation of algorithm. So, here I am going to write the graphical representation of the algorithm. Now, this definition carries 1 mark and explain any 4 symbol carries 4 marks. That means for each symbol 1 marks. So, 4 symbol, 4 marks. So dear student, if I consider this symbol, it is vowel and it is called terminal. It is mainly used to specify start and ending. Now, if I consider parallelogram, so this is for input or output or data or information. And if I consider rectangle, then it is processing. That means all the calculation parts are written in the processing. And if I consider preparation or looping, I'm going to use this symbol. So these are the symbols. Along with that, I can able to use rhombus. Along with that, I can able to use arrow to represent the symbols. So what I want to do, I want to draw the symbol. Along with that, write the meaning or purpose of the symbol, and it carries total 5 marks. 1 for definition and 4 marks for the symbol. Now, see here. I'm going to have the decision or branching, or I'm going to have the predefined process, or I'm having connector, or I can able to use flow direction. Any 4 symbol I can able to write. But if I consider flow chart, I must use all the symbols in my flow chart. But according to the question, I want to write any 4 flow chart. Okay, so this is mainly used to represent the function. This is only for condition, and this is the connector. Suppose if I want to provide the connectivity, I'm going to use the connector. So write the symbol, along with that write the meaning or purpose. So dear student, let me to discuss another question, that is explain the structure of C++ program. Now this question carries 5 marks. First, I want to write one simple program. Along with that, I want to explain the structure of the program. So at the beginning, I'm going to have documentation section. There I'm going to write the description about the program. So there I can able to use single line as well as multi-line comment. After that, I'm going to have hash include preprocessor directives. Then I can able to use hash define. Then I can able to write the function prototype. Then I can able to include global variable declaration. After that, my main program starts. Within the main program, I can able to use local variable declaration as well as the group of statement, and that should be written inside the curly brace. So these are the structure of C++ program, and this is the example. At the beginning, I'm going to have the hash include IO stream.h. That means in my program, I'm going to make use of cout statement. For that, I want to include this statement. Then, what is this void? Because this main function does not return any value. For that reason, it is void. And all the C++ program can have only one main function, and the actual execution of the program starts from the main function. After that, I'm going to have the curly brace. This indicates that this is the entry point. Then after that, I'm going to write this statement, that is first C++ program. That means I'm going to display the message to the user that this is the first C++ program, then close the curly brace. Likewise, I need to write the explanation, and it carries 5 marks. So for each line, I want to write the explanation. See here, I have written what is cout. So this pair indicates the body of the main function. Then if I consider header section, for each section I want to write the explanation because it carries 5 marks. And if you want to get complete 5 marks, then you want to write all the section comes in the C++ structure. So at the beginning documentation, after that hash include, hash define, then that is function definition, that is function prototype, after that global variable declaration, then main function, then entry point, that is the opening curly brace, then at the beginning local variable declaration, then number of statements, and close the main function. So you want to write all the steps one by one. Now let me to consider another question, that is, what are escape sequence character? Explain any 4 escape sequence character. Now I want to define what are the escape sequence character. So what are escape sequence character? It carries 1 mark, and explain any 4 type, it carries 4 mark. Total it is 5 marks. Now escape sequence are the special character. So dear student, you want to mention that at a special character used in control string to modify the format of output. Suppose if I want to format or modify my output, in that time I'm going to use escape sequence character. Now what are the escape sequence character I can able to use in my program? That is new line. So what is the meaning or what's the need of new line? Get the output to the next line. So when a new line is necessary in the output, then this escape sequence is used. Then what is the meaning of tab? That is \T. A tab is equal to 8 space. That means if I want to give space between 2 words, so what escape character I'm going to use? That is \T. Now it's going to provide 8 space. It's going to provide 8 space. And alert bell. So \A. This sequence is used to play beep during execution. That means during the execution of program, if I want to provide beep, in that situation I'm going to use alert bell. And carriage return, that is \R. This escape sequence moves the cursor at the beginning of the current line. Suppose if I want to move the cursor at the beginning of the line, then I'm going to use carriage return. So, dear student, first I want to explain what is escape sequence. Along with that, I want to write any 4 escape sequence, and it carries 5 marks. Now, let me to consider another question here, that is, explain if else construct with syntax and example in C++. Now, I want to use, that is, if else statement in my program. Before that, I want to write this syntax and I want to write the example. So what is if else? It is called two-way branching. I'm having if condition. If that condition is true, then I'm having block of statement. Else, I'm having else part. So that is false statement. So here I'm having two-way branching. For that reason, it is called two-way branching, and this is the example. So here, if test condition. So if is my keyword, predefined word, and I'm going to write the condition, and if this condition is true, I'm going to have this statement. Else, if this condition is false, then I'm going to have else statement. And this definition carries 1 mark and the syntax carries 2 marks. Now, if I write the example, then it carries 2 marks. Now here, I have written complete program. So, dear student, no need to write this complete program. Directly you can write if A greater than B. Before that, assign some value to A and assign some value to B. Now, if 10 is greater than 20, what I want to do? I want to display A greater than, or 10 is greater than 20. If this condition is true, first statement. If this condition is false, according to this example, this condition is false. So, else display B. This is the way I can able to write the example. Now, I have taken this simple program here. I started with hash include conivo and my main program, and this is the statement used to read the input. After reading input, I am going to compare. If A greater than B, A is larger, else B is larger. So, dear student, I want to write only this much statement, and if I write this statement properly, then I'm going to get 2 marks. So what is the marks distribution? 1 plus 2 plus 2, it is 5 marks. First I want to define what is if else, then I want to write syntax along with that. If I write example properly, then I'm going to get 5 marks. Now I'm going to have another question, that is write the difference between while and do while. Now I want to define what is while and what is do while. Now if I consider while statement, it is pre-tested looping. So if I use while statement in my program, then it is called pre-tested looping statement. That means at the beginning itself, I'm going to test the condition. So it is entry testing loop. And if I consider do while, it is called post testing. So I'm going to test the condition at the end, and it is called exit testing loop. Now it tests the given condition at initial point of the loop. So at the beginning itself, it's going to check the condition. But if I go with do while, it tests the given condition at the last of the loop. So it's going to test the given condition at the end of the loop. Now it's going to execute minimum 0 time. That means if the given condition is false at the beginning itself, then it won't enter into the loop. Now, if I consider do while, if the given condition is false, but still it's going to execute at least once, because we are going to test the condition at the end. Now, I'm going to have the syntax. See, as I told, while, and at the beginning itself, I'm going to have the condition, and I'm going to have number of statement. If this condition is true, the control enters into the while block. Now, see the syntax here. At the beginning, I'm going to have the do keyword, and I'm going to have the set of statement, and I'm going to have the while condition. But if this while condition is false, but still it's going to execute these statements at least one time. And see the difference here. See, after while, I'm going to write the condition, but no need to write the semicolon. So semicolon is not used in while statement. But if I consider do while, see at the end I'm going to use the semicolon. This is the difference between while and do while. And if you write the difference as it is, then you're going to get 5 marks. Now let me to consider another question. Define two-dimensional array, give the declaration syntax and initialization of two-dimensional array. First, I want to define what is two-dimensional array. then I want to write the syntax along with example. Now, definition carries 1 mark, syntax carries 2 mark, example carries 2 marks. So, total it is 5 marks. So, what is two-dimensional array? To access any array element, then if I require 2 subscript, then it is called two-dimensional array. It is an array in which each element is accessed using 2 subscript, then it is called two-dimensional array. Now, this is the syntax here. So, at the beginning, I'm going to have the data type, then I'm going to have the variable name, and I want to specify row size and column size. So, dear student, please make a note here. At the beginning, always I want to use row size. After that, I'm going to write the column size. Now, I'm going to write the example here. Now, int is nothing but by data type. Here, a of 2 and 3, that is nothing but the array name along with the size. So, how many element I can able to store here? It is 6. So, 2 into 3, that is 6. I can able to store 6 element. Now, this is the initialization. Directly, I am going to assign 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 to a array name A, and what is the size? 2 into 3. So, it is nothing but the matrix representation. So, if I consider matrix representation, I am having 2 rows, that is 0 and 1, 0th column, 1 column and 2nd column, and I am having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's nothing but 2 cross 3 matrix representation, and it carries 5 marks. Now, let me to consider another question. Explain the working of functions with arguments and with return type. So, dear student, don't get confused here. If I consider function, we are having 4 different type of function. In that, here we got the question like, explain the working of function with arguments and with return type. So, here I am having return type as well as argument. So, function with arguments and with return values. In this method, the function receives some arguments as well as it is going to return some value to calling function. So, dear student, let's consider the general form as well as example here. Now, what is the general form I'm having here? That is, I'm going to have the return value. After that, my function name. After that, I'm going to have arguments. I'm going to have list of arguments. Now, after that, I'm going to have block of statement. So, this is the syntax for function returns value with argument. That is, function with return value with argument. Now, if I consider the example here, think that my function name is add, and I'm going to receive 2 input, that is, I'm going to receive 2 argument, and it is going to return the value. And what's the type of value? It is integer. Now, let me to write the code. That means I'll write return a plus b. I'll write return a plus b. For example, think that here int a and int b. Now, I can able to write return a plus b, and it's going to return the value, that is, after performing addition operation, it's going to return the value. For example, in my main program, if I call the function 10, 20, now this 10 is assigned to A and this 20 is assigned to B. After performing 10 plus 20, it's going to send 30 to this function, and it is stored in the variable called sum. So this is the way I can able to use functions. As the question indicates that explain the working of functions with argument and with return type. So as the function indicates that it must have return type as well as arguments. This is the way this function is going to work. Now let me to consider another question, that is explain any 5 arithmetic functions in electronic spreadsheet. That means I want to explain any 5 arithmetic expression. So at the beginning, I'm going to start with the ABS. That is nothing but the absolute value. For example, think that 5 minus 10, I'm going to get minus 5. Now I want to make it to positive. So in that time, I'm going to use absolute function. So it returns the absolute value of the number. Number with a sign is called absolute number. For example, if I write 10 and any number with the sign is called absolute number. Syntax ABS and specify the number. So example and answer is 5. Now I'm going to have square root function. Suppose if I want to find the square root of any given number, I'm going to write square root function and I'm going to pass the argument, that is number. So here square root 100, what is the answer? It is 10. Now I'm having mod. Suppose if I want to get the remainder as my output, then I can able to use mod. Now mod number and divisor. So mod 5 3, that is 5 divided by 3. 5 ones are 3. Then what about remainder? Remainder is 2. To get the remainder, I'm going to use mod. Now dear student, what is the syntax for product? That is product and I want to specify the number. I want to specify the number or number range. That means I can able to multiply n numbers. So here I have given product of 10, 2. So what is the answer I'm going to get? It is 20. Now I'm going to have sum. So this is also example for mathematic function sum. Now I want to specify the range. By using sum, I can able to add n number. For example, if I write sum of 10 and 20, I'm going to get the result 30. So according to the question, I want to write any 5 mathematical function along with the example and it carries 5 marks. 5 function, 5 marks. Now let me to consider another question, that is mention the features of spreadsheet. I want to write the features of spreadsheet. So it carries 5 marks. At least write 5 features. Suppose if I want to create any table, I'm going to use spreadsheet. Then if I want to use any clip art in my document, then I'm going to use clip art. Suppose if I want to represent the data in the form of charts, I can able to use charts, that is pie chart, bar chart or column chart, etc. Now, if I want to use any built-in functions like mathematical function or logical function, then I can go with spreadsheet. So if I consider mathematical function, I'm having add, subtract, division, multiplication. And if I consider logical function, average, sum, mod, product, etc. Even I can able to use images as well as backgrounds. Even I'm going to have the features like sorting as well as filter. So What is filter? There are certain time I don't want to display all the output. I want to filter some output that can be achieved by using filter. Then whatever sort, I want to display the output in some order. It may be ascending or descending. Even I can able to set the page layout. I can able to set the page margin, page color, or background color, break, print, titles, sheet height, width, scrolling, headings, views, etc. Even I can able to create my own macros. So these are the features provided by the spreadsheet. Dear student, based on the question, you need to answer. So mention the features of spreadsheet. So what are the facilities provided by the spreadsheet? So what is spreadsheet here? It's nothing but the electronic document. It's mainly used to perform calculations automatically. For that reason, we are going to use spreadsheet. It provides tables, clip arts, charts, functions, images, shorter, macro, filter, along with that page layout. Now, the last question from the model question paper here is write the general structure of HTML program, give an example. So first I want to write the general structure. So this is the general structure. So dear student, always make sure that at the beginning I'm going to have the documentation section. Without documentation section, it's fine, because it is ready to work without documentation section. Now at the beginning, I'm going to have HTML tag, then I'm going to have body tag. This indicates that begin the heading section. Then inside head tag, I can able to use title tag, even I can able to use link tag. So what is title? It's mainly used to give the name or title to the documentation. After that, I want to close the head tag. Then I'm going to have the body. So what is this body tag? This defines the body of the HTML. Then close the body tag. Then I want to close the HTML. Now let me to write the example here. At the beginning, I'm going to have HTML tag. So dear student, please make a note here. HTML, that is hypertext markup language, is case insensitive. That means I can able to use capital letters as well as small letters in my program. Now I'll start with the HTML. Then I'm going to have head section. Here under this, I'm going to have title. Here I'm going to specify the title name, that is program 1, and I'm going to close the title. So closing means what? Forward slash, then write the HTML tag. Now I'll close the head tag. Then I'll start with the body. Okay, now I'll use heading 1. I'll write Vidhyaashram, PU College, H1 close. H1 close. Now, if you want to use any tags, then I want to write all the tags within body tag. Now close the body tag. Now close the HTML. And if you write syntax, that is the structure as well as example, then you're going to get 5 marks, because structure carries 2.5 marks and this example carries 2.5 marks. This is the way you want to write the solution. So first read the question at least twice, then start answering the question, and it is very easy to score full marks in computer science subject. So dear student, I hope in my model question paper discussion session you got more information about the question paper pattern as well as how to write the solution and how to score the good marks in the computer science subject. So dear student, all the best for your exam. Thank you for watching my session. Let's meet in the next session. Until then, keep watching and keep learning. Thank you.